There we go.
Muted.
We are.
In the special meeting of Teton Valley Parks and Recreation meeting, like we have all of our directors here this morning. Um, is there a motion, any changes to the agenda? If not, I'll make a motion to accept the agenda as written. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Any public comment? We have Jim Jackson online. Would Jim like to talk now, or should we wait till whichever works best?
Yeah, ask him.
Mr.
Good morning, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Sure, yes. Would you like to make?
Do you hear me this morning?
Yes, can you hear us?
Well, yes, wonderful. Either I can talk to you now. I'd like to apply for the position up at Teutonia for an advisor, but I can wait to number 7 if you'd like on your agenda.
Okay. Sure, let's do it that way.
All right, we'll do it that way.
Okay, with that, we have no additional public comment. Item number 3, Simple Plus Recreation Implementation Software. We talked about that last meeting.
This is where it's the exact same contract that I showed you guys last time, but here's the updated prices. They took us from 11,000 for an initial term down to 8,900. That also covers all of our fees. That covers the virtual trainings. Let's see, virtual consulting. So you've got the training and then you got the consulting. So if they train me and then I've got more questions, I can jump online and get another 4 hours. That audio I managed implementation, that's the addition that goes through all of our stuff to make sure it's ADA accessible to everybody. Just another fee that's attached to it. Anyway, this is I think this is a great deal for the initial term. And then we have our annual reoccurring services. That'll be 6,000 every year. We do have ABC is interested in joining us with our software at some point. They use Active. They said Active is choppy for customers. They like it on the back end, but the front end is more important because parents need to be able to use it. So they're interested. And then, yeah, we'll just kind of build it as we go.
They might be a good one for kind of the test case to be the first one.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah. And then everybody else can join in. I would like to say that I have looked online trying to find everybody's information, even trying to get a hold of like T-ball. Their stuff hasn't been updated since 2025 on their website. So
that's when I was still on the board.
yeah, so I mean, and I understand it's not easy to keep websites updated. Sometimes you just forget you've got everything else going on. So I think this is going to be a great way to get all of just try to encourage people to get underneath one umbrella for information, because I really couldn't find anything about LAX until I did a deep search and then more of a digging to try to find their schedule. And by the time I found their schedule, it's like, I've already got meetings booked this week. So this might encourage people to jump on board. So if you guys would like to, we can get this signed today and we'll get that price locked in, because this is only good until the 31st and they're going to tack on another $1,000.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I'll make a motion to approve the software implementation as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
I'll send that over to you today to get it signed so they can. John, I'll send it to you to get signed today.
Cool.
Okay.
Item 4.
John, just
Yes.
point of clarification. Do we need to say and issue a check for payment for that? We had kind of talked about that with some of the other JPA stuff before.
No, well, approval of it in this case approves the check. With the JPAs, there's multiple ways of paying.
Okay.
So that's why Jeff seemed to
Gotcha.
think we should do it that way.
Okay.
So this is, I think it's understood that if we approve it at the cost, it's there. So. Teton County School District 401 Joint Powers Agreement.
Yeah. This may or may not be ready. Did I share a copy of that with you guys?
Yeah.
John sent me the final draft that Jeff had approved.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I
Um,
could find it in.
I think it's good to go. Nothing really to add there. I just yesterday received their budget of items and things, so I do have that to share with us today. And yeah. Do you guys have any questions about it?
Let's see, we should probably pull it up. Was there anything unique from the others?
You know, the most unique thing is that they're asking us to basically re-sign it every year. So they went from automatic renewal to whatever the term would be in terms of. Give me a second, I'll find my copy of it.
Dates are not finding it.
Katie, I just put it in the meeting docs folder. We've got a new folder with today's date. Yeah.
Okay,
Board
midnight.
meeting.
Are you finding that section I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
right there.
Where are you at, John?
Right in the first section, one, duration and termination. So right now it goes just till September 26th.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think we could make an edit that to of 27,
Yeah, it seems like there's no reason to.
and then we'd get them to approve it at their next board meeting, which is not. What did I look up on that? It's like the second or third Monday in August or something. Is there?
Has this been approved by their board?
Not yet.
Oh, okay, so yeah,
Oops.
yeah, it seems kind of silly to approve it for a month and then have to
There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we could approve it pending their approval with that modification, and they'd probably take some comfort in having that step having been done with their board. You know, I think there's more people paying attention to the schools than there are to us at the moment, but I could be wrong.
Sounds good.
Great.
Well, I'd make a motion to approve the joint powers agreement between Teton Valley Parks and Recreation District and the District School Board District 401 with the edit of changing the first sentence in section 1, duration and termination, to until midnight on September 30th, 2027, the initial term. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Let's see, Victor, JPA projects. Let's see. Tell us a little about these projects there, man.
Well, yeah. If you guys haven't been to a musical main yet this year, there's some new restroom facilities there. This is a partial payment to bring those online. They've probably been online for a month or so. And the second one was part of a streamside restoration in the Brookside Park, which is kind of been the first park in Victor that kind of was in that model of you're doing a subdivision, you're throwing a park into the city, which seems to be kind of how a lot of communities around here.
So the
they're
first,
planning.
this first one is to cover a change order, is that, or more than?
It's more, I think, a portion of the cost.
Okay.
But yeah, the remaining balance right there, 49,050 is what
So
they're
it's picking
looking
up the
for.
balance after a grant that they received for it. So I think it, hits the grant match bucket and it hits the number one survey item. Public streets.
Yeah, I noticed this is interesting because I was looking at the county, the ones Sarah forwarded to under the any facility plans. It's kind of interesting that I guess they are working, they're gonna work on trying to put together a park plan for.
Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is, I think the Victor JPA board will be the ones going, how about Parks Plan? I think that's going to be a little side quest for us, because I know I'm watching the support you're seeing from the Driggs group, the support that you have from the county recreation planner, and it's like Victor is nothing like that. I'm gonna close it. It's a creek in there. Go sneak out. Yeah, so I did recently see something where I think it was spurred on by Mountain Bike the Tetons, but more of a plan drawn. Were you copied on that as well?
When I was talking to Chris
Uh-huh.
a week or so ago, he mentioned that they were gonna try to do something.
Yeah, so they did a drawing that's showing the skate park, part of Sherman Park, includes the restrooms that they're looking for there. That's one I want to talk to you guys today about. So yeah, this is covering that deficit, and they do need a little bit more of a plan in general.
Well, any other discussion?
Are we gonna take it one project at a time, or are we gonna? Instant.
Let whoever wants to make a motion, make that motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the two presented Victor JPA 3.
There's three, that tractor enclosure for Sherman Park Horse Arena.
Oh, yeah, that was the third one.
Yeah.
The hose arena.
Oh,
Somewhere,
hose there.
somewhere I
Second
saw
one says-
hose.
Oh, yeah, the
Yeah,
first one says hose.
yeah.
There are no hoses, there's no water yet. Yeah, I mean, a little background on that horse arena, it's been, sort of volunteer maintained. The city's kind of ignored it. And there's a hope that some public funds can start going towards its maintenance. There is a tractor that's there that was donated by Whit Gardner. He's a former owner of Valley Lumber. It also has a really nice Parma groomer that he's donated, and this is kind of, I think, the least the city can do to help protect that that donation.
So what kind of a structure is it?
It's gonna be site built,
Mhm.
but it's gonna be built on just like 8x8 skids and have a couple of old timey style farm doors that swing open,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
it allows it to be locked up.
Yeah, yes. The reason I kind of ask is because I think we need to, when we prove things like that, we need to make sure we have input into the design in some level.
Mhm.
Because yesterday I met the soccer people over at the middle school. And I don't know if you notice on the north end of the middle school, there's this structure that's somebody built,
Okay.
that's made of what is it, OBS, and it looks like it once had
What's OBS?
OSB.
OSB, excuse me, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's what somebody with dyslexia.
Yeah.
But but it looks like it was once wrapped in Tyvek.
Sure.
It's just a mess. It's just rotting.
little
It's
mess.
like, I looked at that and I go, yeah, I'm sure at the time they had to cover stuff, but we just need to make sure that they're,
Yeah.
long term, it's not just some.
So
thing thrown
it's stick framed, but it's not on a foundation. So it's sort of like a bully barn you'd buy,
So you
but
can move it.
they're gonna, so that it can be moved, yeah. And the plan is like a rough sawn plywood on the exterior with wood battens that cover up, sort of looks like a board and batten, but it's really
Okay.
just plywood behind it.
Mhm.
And there's thought that there might be $1,500 or something there in that budget, the sort of contingency that goes to a mural or something potentially being painted on it was another idea.
Mhm.
So that was thrown out. I have this is based on a conversation with Whit, and I've asked him to gather a complete invoice. He has someone who's willing to build it and put it together this year. So if we wanted to wait to see that invoice, I think the timing would be fine for that as well. But he thought it was going to be 16. I said I'm going to just go a little bit higher because we don't have a complete quote or just being in that world. It's always costs more and takes longer. So if you guys are comfortable with that number, we could do it. If we wanted to wait for a little bit more detail, I think we could get a really detailed thing.
I think I'm comfortable with the number. I just think we need to, as part of the process on any of these kind of things, is making sure that we, if there's I guess, kind of a red flag that pops up and says, hey, let's rethink this and make sure we're building something that's going to last and not something
Right.
that, and so I just think that's, like I say, I think I'm fine with the number because it seems reasonable for what it is. And is it going to have a floor or is it just going to be done?
It's not. I think it's just going to be on dirt, and they might bring a
Yeah.
little, road base in or something just to level out the rocky ground.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that's it. Those skids will get embedded in the ground
Oh, yeah. No, it'd
4
be
inches
fine.
or something,
Yeah.
and
Well, and the advantage of that too is they can move it around if they.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Their
Especially since there's no.
further hope is to take out some of the 3 out of 4 sides of the posts and rails and regrade it because it was never really done professionally. So that's for next year, next discussion. And yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that approach.
I guess I have a question about the little park over in Brookside. Do they put a porta potty there in the summer, or? I know there's a couple parking spots, which to me is good because if people want to go use it from outside that neighborhood, they can drive in there.
Sure.
But once you're
I
there,
don't
there's
recall
like
a
no
porta potty there.
So maybe that could be added to the list if it's going to be considered a park for the use by everyone. Because if you live in that neighborhood, you just go home.
Right.
Right.
But if you're visiting and you're parked there and your kid has an emergency, where do you go? So
Totally.
make sure that, when we're doing these projects for the parks, it's for everyone.
Great.
But there are parking spots there, so.
It's the closest basketball hoop in downtown Victor. That's what I know it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. Good to know.
Cool. I'll make a note.
I used to play my basketball experience. I was a supervisor at the gym in college, and Sunday afternoon the basketball team would be practicing in there, and they'd be like short of a person.
Yeah.
They'd be just pick up ball, and they'd ask me to come play with them, just so they have a person because go to shoot and all they do is go bang. Exactly. They're so much taller.
It's
Do we have a motion to approve the?
I'll make a motion to approve the 3 Victor JPA joint projects as presented. Is there a second?
Don't we have to talk about payment on this in the motion?
And with payment to be issued by check.
Second that motion. Is there a discussion? Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Just a quick question. This now goes to city council and then we issue a check? Okay. Making sure.
Yep, city
Still not
council has
like
to
running
approve.
over to my desk and writing them out.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Teton County. Joint projects.
Okay. You guys got that email last night? That's the 3 projects.
I did.
Okay.
Um,
So Old Right-of-Way Road, is the old railway bed that accesses a fishing site essentially, and there's already a porta potty there. But the road itself has not been maintained very well. They did grade it last week, so it's passable.
I just remember it being like a dirt. Does it have gravel on it?
Not a lot, and that's what we were talking about yesterday, with this project. He got the total cost of $25,000 from Road and Bridge, and that's like the Band-Aid cost to really fix it and redo the gravel and get it up to county width standards is close to $1 million.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the other thing we were thinking about maybe down the road, I mean, this would just be for this year, getting it. They already graded it, but during doing the permazine treatment, which will help bind it and help it last.
What is permazine?
It's that, I think it's that, the
Magnesium
mag stuff,
chloride.
Chloride.
yeah, that they've
Okay.
been putting on the road. So it just will help it bind together and last the rest of the year, hopefully.
Cause then maybe the other thing that they could do, can they shut it during the early spring? Because what's I've seen is it just becomes a rutted mud, and I believe I've been one of those people. In spring, it's fun to go drive mud like that.
Hmm.
And I think that's what happened there.
I'm sure that's a possibility.
Yeah, that would be a good, just to protect it, cause it seems like that's when it's the worst, is when it's thawing and it's all wet.
Yeah, so they did a pretty good grade on it and put in some ditches so that hopefully it drains now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it
again,
was- It was,
So they've already done some of that work. Then annually, hopefully it's only 8,000 to kind of keep up a lower standard probably than most county roads
Yeah,
have, but keeping it accessible. So we could look at an actual plan for fixing it.
I'd say I'm generally in support of it, and that a suggestion about you know, responsible use, as John is talking about, would be good. And that we should probably for 27, 26. I don't know, does this sort of recreation byways, I'll call them, need a bucket? So we're, proactive about the number of dollars. I guess what I'm getting at is that the idea of an annual grading line item of $8,000 for old right of way, that just becomes an obligation for us. Is that something that we want?
Well, it's one of those things, if the plan says it's important, the access is important, because I
Totally.
consider that access, like when that road was not accessible for a long time.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, unless you were on a bicycle or something. Yeah,
I think it'll also add, it'll take some pressure off other accesses too. That probably, as I was thinking about this, that's probably part of the problem too, is as soon as you make it easier to get there, more people will use it.
yeah.
Good thing, bad thing, more people will start taking out there too. And
Well,
stuff too, but
and
that's,
kind of the plan we're looking at, the county had already looked at turning that into a ADA fishing spot, like building a platform.
Mhm.
We were talking about it yesterday, maybe creating some kind of ramp for people to be able to walk into the water if they're, still able and want to do that. So I think we would be promoting it more as a fishing place
Cool.
and maybe getting
Yeah.
people off of the boat ramps
Mhm.
and designating
Great.
it that way.
Yeah,
So
think it's a great
improving the
way.
road and creating an ADA spot would be next on the agenda. for
Yeah.
Next year even. They already
Yeah.
have a
I mean,
plan.
I think all that sounds great.
Yeah, I think, at this point, I mean, again, as we start to look at these and we start to figure out what those potential long-term commitments are, at this point, I don't know that we're committing to that 8,000 a year. I mean, there's kind of a
Yeah,
thought that that could be there, and I'm sure
Okay.
that's what the county's thinking, but at this point, we're just saying, yeah, we'll help it with this year.
I would
Gotcha.
think we
Gotta-
put it in for 27.
Yeah,
Um,
And they already have plans for the fishing platform drawn up. Assuming the piers are still in good shape because they're gonna use those existing piers that are already in the river.
interesting.
yeah,
They need to be reevaluated because I can't
Okay.
remember when
They
Dan said
last
those
looked at it.
plans were there, but.
okay,
That's
back when
another
they really knew how
project.
to use creosote, so those things are they're probably still seeping creosote.
So adding some kind of seasonal closure perhaps for next spring or
On the road, yeah,
road to,
I think that would,
okay.
if that's say, I mean,
I
that.
think they'd be open
I
to
think
that.
if they can do it, Daryl, I think would probably be
Yeah,
supportive of
I
that.
think
Yeah,
We can,
it's a suggestion.
yeah,
It's his road, right?
yeah, yeah. I think it would be good. Because that should, I mean, yeah, if we have to spend a whole ton of money grading it because of that, I mean, you look at Reese Road out, past you over there, that thing just becomes a mess. That thing should.
and they
probably just
close
be-
it, yeah. Or
Do
just
they
don't
close
plow
it?
Well, they just
They don't plow it, but yeah,
We-
yeah.
I think the farmers end up grading it first.
And let's see, so was it in that same?
There are
file?
3 different documents.
Okay, I was gonna say I got that one.
Here's the bulbs and toilet cleaning one.
Toilet cleaning.
Yeah.
Again, with toilets being a priority. County just doesn't have money in the budget, and currently Fish and Wildlife has been cleaning it, but they don't have the staff anymore to really come and do it.
Is it based in South Bates, right?
All of the river access points.
Sorry, so would this expense cover all of the access points?
Yeah.
Didn't realize that
And
was-
also the toilet out at Horseshoe Canyon Trailhead.
So are all these included in our, as facilities in our agreement? Question I had.
Because I just saw the Trail Creek Pond.
Yeah, cause Trail Creek's probably not. That was the one that popped out on me.
I did not notice that. That one, so we'd have to put that in for next year. Or try to make an amendment to our current JPA.
They had that in there. Is that a county?
I don't think so.
The county has agreements with Fish and Wildlife for these ones.
So it's Fish
So
and
we-
Wildlife owns that?
I think so. Oh, Connie's
Yeah.
Pond. Yeah, so that's the pond south of Victor.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's got a list right there. Does the county own these facilities? Teton County owns the Bates and South Bates. Idaho Fish and Game owns Fox Creek and West Big Eddy. US Forest or owns Horseshoes. So they've got the list of in the project.
Yeah.
I should have read that closer.
Um,
I just assumed it was the ones that we had talked about before that were on the JPA.
so should we just edit this into the county properties we know that exist on Exhibit A?
Well, I mean, at that point, that'd be the easiest, cause we don't know really how to handle those others. We don't have a,
Unless we can get an amendment in the
Yeah.
agenda for the commissioners.
yeah. And so right now, the county has agreements with Fish and Game. Like Fox. And so maybe we can ask Jeff about if there's an agreement like that in place, how can we, or does it require a separate? Because county is well, no, I guess if the county has an agreement to keep them clean. can we do that? Yeah.
I mean, there's not, I'm looking at the aerial to refresh my memory, but there's not a vault toilet at Fox Creek East.
Fox Creek East has a vault.
It does? Okay. Is that new then?
I'm not sure when, it's a few years old.
Okay. It's been a few years since I've been there.
That's on east, oh, I would say the west side, there's one.
Well, it's called Fox Creek East.
Oh,
but
okay.
Because it's on the east side of the river, where Fox Creek goes into the river.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
on
I
the
guess
east
I
side.
wandered around the kitchen's property there. So, yeah. Because I don't know which side of the river it's on at that point.
And then, so are we stating that because the county has an agreement with those folks, through that agreement, we're able to,
That's the question, whether we can. To me, that's the,
is that
Or
a
do
question
you
we need to
need-
ask of
yeah,
Jeff?
yeah, I
Okay.
think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Or do we just say, here's the portion we're gonna pay for these sites? I
We
don't know.
can do that if we
That's
can
a
get that
fair
approved
point.
now. We
Yeah,
can proceed
sure.
that way, yeah, and then we can look at the other.
I mean,
figure out how to
this
do
is
it.
still 2026, so we still have time, I think, to get the
Mhm.
26 stuff going as far as getting the money.
Yeah,
So if we wanna just amend it and try to get the commissioners to sign off on it. Their next meeting, I think, is Monday. I don't know if I can get on their agenda.
I would
but-
presume, yeah, if we
It's
set
probably
the
too late.
amount at, whatever you've got there, and, let's just say it's, July, August, September, 3,500 a month. Well, whatever, I think, I guess what I'm saying is we can rebalance in 2027 and whatever would be needed, so.
so you're proposing to use the project cost of 10,500 and with the stipulation at this point that it's just those currently owned by the county and that will.
Yeah, I think we
Look
should
into
edit the
the-
JPA to only include items that are on Exhibit A,
Mhm.
and we can leave it at that.
Oh, for this one?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I don't think we can say we're doing it for Idaho Fish and Game property and
Not
until-
without some,
not
yeah,
without the knowledge.
Well, and he said there's still vessel funds to cover those, so if we did, yeah, just pay the ones the county had on the JPA, I think that'll be fine.
Okay.
But then next year we could budget for all of them and amend the JPA.
yeah, well.
Because that'll
try that
start September or October 1st.
October 1st,
So
yeah. I don't think that's a question we've really kind of pursued, whether we have an agreement, because what we kind of have, and so it might be there, because we've said, okay, if we've got an agreement with the city of Driggs,
Yeah,
well, that's different. I'm thinking if somebody is doing work, say Mountain Bike the Teton is doing work there, the city of Driggs, the city of Victor could provide funds for them to do the work we're requesting, but that is on a facility, so that's
Yeah.
different, yeah. But I don't think we've asked this specific question before, so I think it's worth asking for sure before we do something. Yep.
So amend that. Okay, it's on the JPA. Okay. Anything else on that one?
Yeah.
Teton Creek corridor. So this is for the vault toilet.
Is this the second one?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Which from your estimates, $40,000 is what we're looking at for the vault toilet. And then fixing the access road and parking, the parking area is okay, but getting in there. 50,000. The road needs to be brought up quite a bit with material. It's kind of in a hole.
Hmm.
So that's numbers from Road and Bridge. And so it's more just the trailhead, nothing on the actual trail for this one. Because apparently that trail could move. Just found this out, that subdivision where they put the trail might not be where the subdivision actually wants it once they start developing it. So the two choices are moving it closer to the creek, or it's gonna end up going through the subdivision. which I thought was interesting.
That
And
is
I said,
interesting.
and most of that cost would be covered by the subdivision. There were some other costs that Dan from TVTAP had identified that for grading, but I don't know that we want to spend money on regrading that trail if it's just gonna move next year. They're supposed to be having their HOA meeting or something here soon.
I think we would, I mean,
Can you show
But
me
it
maybe
would-
on Google Maps or something, Katie? Could you pull up the aerial just to talk about where it's
Where
gonna
the-
get regraded? I mean, I know the parking lot and everything, but
yeah,
I mean, the parking area will stay there. It'll still connect with the trail that goes back towards town. That's not gonna change.
well, but
And then the parcels that the county have,
the part, yeah, I mean, it's the new subdivision that's been
yeah, it's
just dug in.
further down the trail.
Yeah, that one's, I guess, it's just opinion at this point on that piece, but is that if it should not go through the neighborhood. Because that changes the whole, I mean, even where they put it changes the whole fill for the trail. I don't know if you've been up there since they dug that thing in.
Yeah, they were working on it last time I was out there.
Yeah, but if it goes through the neighborhood, that sort of becomes a whole different kind of trail. That's
But the county also has a lot, like 3 parcels or something there.
right.
That could be used for some type of park setting, like I guess Dan from TV Tap has
Dan's always got
got a vision there, and maybe that's where a new winter trail could be. And just a general park, with a walking path, maybe it's just a loop instead of going all the way out to state line. I don't know. If it's,
interesting. Okay,
so,
well, I guess, yeah, as far as
the subdivision you're referencing is to the northeast? Out that way?
yes, to the just
Or to
pretty
the
much
southeast?
east,
straight,
yeah,
straight
of
east,
what
yeah.
the county,
Yeah, if you follow the trail all the way to
So-
state line.
the old landfill
Okay,
is what the county property is. And then there's a subdivision straight east of that, and it goes right to the creek.
okay. I mean, the trail's currently running through, um, never mind. I think I know what you're talking about now.
There might even be 2 different subdivisions over there.
Yeah, well, there
There's the Targhee Hill Estate. Seems to be one that's got a
Yeah.
roadway and nothing built yet.
It's been that, both of those subdivisions right there have been there forever.
Yeah,
They were
okay.
kind of abandoned and. I
The
guess,
trail seems pretty well protected, I'm saying, between land trust land and Teton County land, at least for until it gets to that
yeah,
subdivision just south of Teton Creek Resort. So
I think, yeah, as far as, let's just, if we just talk about this one at this point, the parking and the toilet, I mean, I'm fine with those. At this point, they seem reasonable. The question is, I think that the question about the trail is different.
I just wanted to bring that up in case
Yeah.
people had concerns.
I mean, I
about
feel like
could
this
be a
ball-
dead-end trail at some point, or it can turn and come back onto county
Yeah.
land. So,
Yeah, I didn't realize they didn't have that all secured.
I didn't
through
either.
easements. That's
recently,
kind of disappointing.
well, it's secured in easements, but the subdivision can move it from its
Move it.
current location.
Okay,
So
so
we
the
don't wanna
trail will
put
exist in one way or
too much
another.
money into it if it's just.
Gonna change, yeah, yeah.
But
yeah, there's about 10 lots that the trail currently like bisects. That would have to
Oh,
be
is that what
rerouted.
it's doing?
Mhm.
Okay, so you're looking at
And it's
the,
gonna move the trail closer to the creek to do it, which is gonna have,
I wonder when I was riding there, how close, because that's so close, I thought, oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
it is interesting. That was the last one, right, Sarah?
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like we should quickly rewrite the JPA on the vault toilet cleaning and to strip out the locations we're not certain about, and otherwise be good.
Can I ask you a favor as we're putting these together and getting them approved? Can you create a spreadsheet of all these projects and their costs?
Yes.
Any other pertinent data that we can sort of keep track of where things are? Because we got them in all these documents. Nice to have them on a spreadsheet.
Okay.
So we can just see where things are and that.
That's kind of vague, but yeah.
Well, I
Just
mean.
give me exactly what you want in the spreadsheet and I'll create it.
Oh,
Let's do
okay,
that.
Sure.
So we can just keep them like,
Yeah, yep, I can do that.
just because we're probably gonna be on a little bit of a time crunch talking between the two of us on what you would like. Just send me exactly what you
Yeah.
want on the spreadsheet and I'll put it together.
Sure.
So that you give me a box with which I can play. The box is your expectations and I can play inside that box and come up with something.
Just gave you a box.
No, you didn't. Drawing of a box.
So.
Give me the box.
Sounds like.
Cause my box
What
looks
are
like,
these?
could look like an octagon and yours could just be four sides, so. Give me the four sides. Yes, I will definitely put a spreadsheet together.
Exhibit A. So Bates is on there. Same one.
While she's looking, remind me of the action expected on the budget today.
Like to approve, kind of the tentative, uh, high level, which is the one that we'll publish for public comment.
Okay.
And then in our August meeting on the, whatever day
12th
that
or
is.
11th, I think.
11th.
Whatever,
It's the 11th.
Thank you, 11th. That's when it'll be open to public comment input and then we'll make decisions and then say that's.
But your
that's
expectation today has been amongst the three of us, we're final on that.
kind
And
of set what
it's
that
really
top
just-
number is and
We have to publish it in the paper
Yeah.
before our meeting and then we have our meeting.
Right.
So we wanna figure out what our
Yeah.
maximum is, or what we're looking to spend in
Yeah.
2027.
Great. It's just easier for me with,
But we can't go over that number. We can go under that number, but we can't
Sure.
go over that number.
for as far as the tax.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was no Fox.
I would say add any you can think of too, Sarah. I mean, is there another?
County run bathroom, they probably got them all. That's a pretty big list you had there.
Okay.
So it's not.
It's not even county run though, it's right, it's county.
Yeah, it's South Bay.
Yeah.
Owned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the hard part. Yeah. Well, that's, I can say that's rec phone and your phone, I see.
They're both going on. It's emails.
I sent your picture of you the other morning as you were flying over my house
Oh.
via your.
Yeah, personal, well, I wasn't bringing my
work.
work phone up there.
Yeah, I got her work phone up there. Her friend.
She's never been outside of Las Vegas before, so to see space like this is really, it's
Yeah.
something.
I bet. Never been outside Las Vegas.
That's it. Yeah.
I've been the person that has opened up her horizons to places with space.
Yeah.
She
I know.
visited in Texas and that was some big space too. And then she visited when I was in Sandpoint. She's never seen trees like that. She came here and she's never seen trees like that.
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah,
cool.
we went horseback riding too, and she's never been on a horse, so
I'm a little scared of hot air balloons. It's like,
it wasn't at all what we thought it was gonna be.
It's just when they deflate, they go down fast.
When it goes wrong, it really
Goes wrong.
Yeah.
Bad things happen.
Okay, so now I'm looking at this, so two of the sites that are on the JPA have porta potties. Can we cover the maintenance for those instead then? Okay, so that's 3 vault toilets and then 2 porta potties.
Oh,
Would
yeah,
be
cause
what
like,
the
cause like,
JPA.
not Harrop's, the other one is, upriver.
Pack Saddle.
Yeah, that's actually in the easement, so yeah, that's.
They have a
Yeah,
one there and then the one at Old Rider Way. So
Yeah.
those are both on the JPA.
Yeah. that's good.
So I'll say as
Yeah,
well.
cause we had money in our budget for
as-
those things, so.
To,
Every time I drive through Las Vegas, I never stop. I hate the place. It's just like, and I think it's because in 1965, when we were moving up here, we stopped in a hotel there and I rolled out of bed and broke my collarbone.
Oh,
And my mother, who was a nurse, of course, I would all night long as I'm in pain, and she's like, "You're fine. You'll be fine." Because you roll out of bed, you don't break things. I mean, and next morning they brought me to the emergency room. But I'm sure that there's trauma there that just.
I was gonna say that story. I'm glad to hear, your kid or your mom was there, because otherwise it sounds like one of those what happens in Vegas daily.
Yeah, was pretty young.
One year we were like, well, we're just gonna head south for spring break, with the kids, and we had no plans, and we did some national parks, and we're kind of down near Bryce and in that corner of it. And I had the harebrained idea. I was like, well, let's just spend 2 nights in Vegas. We'll go, we'll have a pool, and yeah, I didn't realize the showgirls walking down the streets and all that stuff. And I forgot that they take you through the casino to get to your room, right? Because that's one of their tactics. And here we are. Liz is like, what are we doing dragging our family through this, Matt? What were you thinking?
We went with the soccer club. We went down to Las Vegas like in February. Don't know why, because all the California teams that came up to play, they've been playing all of year. And of course, these kids have been playing in a gym.
Right.
We get down, of course, they got cream, but one evening after the games, kids wanted to go to the strip. So Barb went with them. So like 5, their son. And I said, I don't need to do this. So I just said, I'm gonna drop you off and I'm gonna go wander over here with the dog. We'll walk or something. So Barb said they were terrified. They were these kids from Idaho Falls, they're like, what is going on? People are throwing cards and everything. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Residents, when I lived there, you just realize residents don't go anywhere near the strip. We
Yes.
found our own pools.
Yes.
That don't include wandering
Love
down the
that.
strip to find it. Yeah, I had a beautiful condo. I loved my condo. I had a couple of parks that were nearby. I had a grocery store across the street. I was 7 minutes away from my rec center. Grassy area, gated.
That was
My dog
true.
loved it. It had a nice little pool for us. Like you gotta find your little corner.
Yeah.
And your corner generally stays away from
Not
the
there.
tourist areas. Yeah. Only time we went down was like, I think for a hockey game. It was the
Yeah.
only time we ever went down to the strip to go catch a hockey game or.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
you gotta be a gambler.
Yes, yeah.
There
I worked too
were
hard for my
definitely
money.
sad moments like the Albertsons had a little casino in it, and there have been times where we would see the kids from the rec center grocery shopping while mom was in the casino. Like, well, why are you grocery shopping? Where's your mom? Oh, she's over playing a slot machine. It's like, do you want help with that cart?
Okay, I think I've got it.
You got her?
So I just kind of reworded it. So the vault toilets are I'm just gonna say toilets. Okay. I couldn't, this was
This is different, yeah.
yeah, I had to edit it. I don't have Word.
No, I think that's great, Sarah, and I'm happy to
okay.
just make a motion and would, as, those suggested amendments to include only the county exhibit property, and leave it at that.
Okay, but for the same amount quoted, because
I think so. I mean, it's,
they
I'm just
also
trying to
needed to get
protect
them,
us.
which they had to do like now, and then now they need the money too, so that's
Yeah.
part of it too, right?
Yeah.
Cleaning and pumping.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to make a motion to approve the JPA toilet project for the county, which will include cleaning and pumping of toilets located along river access sites and the Horseshoe Canyon Trailhead. For the amount of $10,500 for fiscal year 2026 to be distributed as a check.
I'll second that motion.
Is there any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes.
Okay. And the other ones,
Let's just do those together if you want.
okay. So. And I'd like to make a motion to approve 2 other joint powers projects for the county. River access road improvements to the old right-of-way road and the amount of $25,000. And also the improvements to the Teton Creek corridor trailhead for the access road and vault toilet in the amount of $90,000
Is there a second?
to be issued as a check.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Item 7, advisory committee suggestions, action item.
Okay, so I attended the last advisory committee meeting where they went over the latest survey results. And I think you guys got those emails. Did you get a chance to look at those? And they just,
I glanced at them, but not in detail.
yeah, and I mean, that's not really on our agenda today, but some suggestions from them would be filling that vacancy if we can, if there was anyone interested. And then also creating a newsletter because they feel like the public is not really informed very well about what we've been doing. And I know the website has the capability of the newsletter, so it's.
This is,
And then-
I would like to open the discussion on this
Yeah.
before we do an action item to add one more newsletter. If we try to oversaturate when people are not utilizing our website, they're not going to utilize a newsletter and they're going to unsubscribe. So even our committee is not getting emails because they haven't signed up for the emails for our news flash. So when I do put news flashes on, it does go out. I can't post it without emailing it out to people. So if people don't join the newsletter and they don't join the news flash, they're not going to get it. But to those that have, I click immediately, which means that news is going out as I send it out. So if I'm only have 2 people subscribing to it, those are the 2 people that are getting it. And I post it on our Facebook and I post it on our Instagram. But if I take another moment to send out another different type of newsletter, when we have 3 digital ways of people getting it, I don't know what good it's going to do. Besides add one more thing on my list of things to do that people aren't going to read. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I understand, yeah.
So what I'm encouraging people to do and what I have done is I sent out a video that breaks down how you can get into our newsletter and how you can get our news flashes. But if people don't want to subscribe, I don't know what else to do besides print it up and mail it out to people.
Can we,
So I'm open to suggestions on how I can get information out, but if people don't want to read it, I don't know what to say.
I mean, it kind of makes me think about the fact that like, if I just, buy a belt buckle somewhere, they've got my email and suddenly I'm getting
Right.
coupons, right?
Yeah, a lot of that time it's because.
And then I get to scroll
approved it.
down
And
Cookies.
subscribe.
and click on subscribe.
Right.
I mean, is there a way for us to take, force feed what you're talking about to our advisory committee at the very least by putting their emails in?
I can probably do that. Yeah, I can add their email to
Could
it.
you add mine?
Yeah. I mean, they're like trying
I'm
here.
biased.
But my point being is
Yeah.
like waiting, I think waiting for people to actively subscribe to receive the information is hard for people to do this. This stuff is not often taken.
Right.
If our newsletter has an unsubscribe button, I think it's the type of newsletter that's not a coupon trying to sell something, it's trying to inform. People are
Right.
going to be interested and usually happy to receive it. And I would say I'm willing to give you the authority to put our mailing list to work, and let that feel like have that one piece of spam instead of the three like you're talking about. I think
Yeah.
that's important. And try that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we have anyone that's attended our public meetings, like that list of emails, if they put them on there,
Yeah.
I mean, clearly they're
Is that what-
interested.
Right, but is that honestly what they want to, like, I guess my concern is taking people's information that they gave us. And unless they specifically check that box saying, yes, I want to subscribe to your newsletters, or I want to subscribe to future, I don't, is there a line that we're crossing by doing that?
There's some questions on legality of those things. I know,
Is-
like if you use MailChimp, add somebody to it, you specifically have to say, have they asked to be subscribed or they can
Well,
Be the
so
first
let's,
one is
let me
subscribe.
look at the,
Yeah.
If you want to.
if you look at our recreation software, when people register just as somebody who's going to be using the software, there is that button that says digital mail coming to them, because they need to be able, like, so when they sign up, they get an email kicked back to them saying, you need to verify that this is you by clicking this. But if they don't get those emails, they can't verify. And then all of a sudden they're trying to open up 5 or 6 different accounts, but they're also not allowing us to verify. But then if you do click the verification, there are extra boxes that say you're going to get updates for if your class is canceled, if there's a rain out, if there's all these legalities that come behind one email being verified to getting all of these. And I don't want to step over people, like especially the communities foot. But if our advisory committee wants to get on it, I have no problems adding their email to it if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, but
I'm just afraid of oversaturating
Can we
and then
send
people
out
saying
an
no.
initial thing to the people we have their emails and say, and send them your little tutorial and say, here's how you do it,
Yeah,
and try to get these people that have shown interest.
That's a good
Then-
idea.
yeah.
That
I
way,
can
we're
do
just
that.
sending them information on how to do it. We're not signing them up
Right.
for it,
Right.
but it's putting it in their face, like, here's how you do it. Clearly, you
And-
haven't figured it out yet.
To subscribe though, it should be easy. I mean, you should be able just to click a button that says subscribe and then they hit.
Right here.
Well, I've got
Right.
I've got the little video on where, like, I spelt it out in that
Right.
video on how people can get there and what they can sign up for and what they can't sign, or if they don't want to.
But if they wanted just to subscribe to a newsletter.
Just to the newsflash,
we
they can.
You could probably just put the link there and then just subscribe.
Yeah, it's like literally on that video.
Okay. Well, no, but I mean, I would,
The link is there and the video is there and where people can
So-
go is there. Like,
yeah. So
I
let me,
wanted personally for people to do that, so I didn't have to keep sharing it to a bunch of different Facebook pages and.
right. No, what I'm saying is me,
If we're
I-
spending all of this money on our website, we need to be getting
Sure,
people
sure.
to our website and using our website.
Yeah.
Or we're giving the people that said our website's a waste of money,
yep. So
even more of a reason to hate it.
my point is, I didn't click on the video. Because of time and what I'm doing. But if there was a link that I just clicked that said subscribe,
Right.
I'm gonna subscribe.
So this is why the video's there, is because you actually have to get an account going with our website.
So there's no way of just subscribing to a newsletter without having an account there too. So, for most, I'm just thinking of other newsletters.
So here's what you
Yeah.
can choose. Like, if you sign it up, you can choose to get agenda stuff. You can
Right.
choose to get the calendar stuff. And main calendar, and I think you choose what calendar you get notifications with, but it's your personal thing is what you're signing up for.
Right.
And so the news flash is what she's talking about, is the thing that she does. She posts it here
If we get
and there
something,
and there.
Right,
right. And
So maybe we're talking, maybe it's semantics on where we're here, because the question, and I think of a newsletter different than a news flash. And so I'm thinking, I'm old fashioned and I think about a lot of people my age, like, I mean, I read paper, it's
Mhm.
paper. And so just to start from that thought is, and to kind of come back to the newsletter, maybe on a quarterly or a 6-month basis, maybe quarterly, maybe if we have a small, this is the accomplishments, this is what the district's done.
Mhm.
And that's not just the news flash, because I think that's a little different, is that newsletter then goes out to this distribution list, or potentially, I mean, that's something we could think about too. Maybe there's a paper copy, because a lot of people aren't on social media. I say, unfortunately, a lot of my friends no longer use social media, which is, become the kind of the default communication too. But maybe if we think about, like a quarterly true newsletter that kind of,
Sure.
here's what we've done, because then people are more likely maybe to read that than a quick news flash. And that's something that I think if we could set it up, that they just
I can definitely look at that.
subscribe.
I just would really like I said, with our website, we have spent a lot of money
Sure,
on
yeah.
this, and if people aren't going to it, what did we spend a lot of money on it for?
Right, yeah.
So I'm trying to encourage that more than I am yet another easy, like, I'm not trying to not make it easy for people to get our
Right.
information, but we need our foot traffic. We need that foot traffic to our digital, or we're wasting our money.
Mhm.
And if I give them yet another avenue, that's basically spoon feeding them rather than them pursuing that information.
Yeah, but
It's
part of
a
the-
double-edged sword on
Yeah.
both of them, because we're gonna be, again, we're doing more money towards a newsletter that's put up the exact same information right now on our website, the exact same information that's on our Facebook, the exact same information that's on our Instagram, because I do that. I mirror it on all three of them.
Yeah,
So,
there's somebody in a meeting I was in, they talked about how, where people get their information, their age demographics.
sure,
70 and older, it's paper.
yeah,
45 to 65, it's Facebook. Instagram is below that. TikTok is below that. I
Right.
mean, that's where the information comes from. And so you almost have to hit all those. And so part of it too is, I mean,
we're also trying to get all of our stuff under one umbrella.
right. No, I'm not saying
If we're
it
trying to
could
get it all under one umbrella, now we're throwing it under 5 different
No, no.
umbrellas. We're gonna be right back to where we were at the beginning. And I get change is hard, and trying to find us is not necessarily what people want to do, but I mean,
Yeah.
Is
No.
this the sign-in that I need to do to
Yeah.
be on the newsletter? The
that
notify?
notify me, because then it'll give you all the,
Okay.
it basically lets you update your profile. And what your profile is going to include is if you want the news flash, if you want all the agendas, because Sarah gets it when I post agendas.
I do.
It goes right to her email. If I
Right.
modify it, it goes right to their email. If I add minutes and paper, it goes right to their
Yeah.
email. You
Yeah.
get all of it. If I add something to a calendar, it goes right to your email.
Yeah, I'm not saying that we have to use this different. I'm just saying at some point, maybe that consolidated document, quarterly, this is what we've done.
Then an actual
Sure.
news.
Yeah, an actual newsletter thing, and that would still be there. I
Right,
think the hard thing, and this is, having worked in a lot of, public engagement kind of things,
sure,
getting people to engage is hard,
yes,
for multiple reasons. And if it becomes, it's like, as I could always say, when you're having to fuss to pay somebody, it's like taking the money should be the easy part.
right, yeah.
And so this is sort of like, okay, if we can figure out, I mean, part of our role really is to figure out how can we get that information out to people.
Right.
I mean, because some people just don't. I mean, I go through in the morning, I delete, 50 emails that and half of those are coming, newsletters and things like that. It's like, I don't got time.
I think for the next year, as we say, hey, everybody, old right-of-way roads getting graded. People are gonna be excited about that if they're water people,
Right.
whatever. By the way, did you know you can go to this video to learn how to establish your profile at Teton Valley Parks and Rec? And here's all the things that it gets you, and we just have to beat that drum. I kind of agree with the idea of trying to get people into our program and not making a program for every potential thing, that makes a lot of sense to me. We have to just beat that drum. And I think a quarterly newsletter is not a big lift. I mean, what did we just come up with 6 things here on today that people are getting excited to hear about? Whenever we can get that news out, we've got to hit did you know if you have a profile at TetonValleyParksRec.org, you can do this, and this, and in the future, it'll help when it comes time to get the calendar going, and I like trying to get people into this system. I think leaning into our technology in our system is important. And I guess what I'm saying is I think you're both right at this point in time.
Just got this in February.
Yeah.
It just was implemented a few months ago. And I know to some people, it feels like it's been there forever, but that foot traffic hasn't been put there. This is only months. This isn't years. This hasn't been sitting there with nobody. It just hasn't been utilized yet.
I would like to
So-
update our sign up sheets. If you put your email down, there isn't an opt-in or an opt-out button. It's presumed that you've opted in.
And maybe
you know?
there's no instruction on those sign-in sheets that this is what you're gonna get for signing in. It just is us collecting information.
I think people that sign their names and their emails to that, they want to know more. That's implied and put in your.
Yeah, they could leave their email off.
it's implied, but I can't, I still can't take it without them agreeing that that implication is there, but unless we have it in writing,
And
I
just our
can't-
setup,
and
they
I can
need to
change
create
that.
their account.
I can change that on our physical sign-in sheet that says when they come to
Yeah.
our meetings, that's added, like you will be added to our mailing list. We will be adding you to our, but it's not on there. All it is this is
Yeah.
the date.
That
This
seems
is the
reasonable to
meeting.
do. Yeah, go ahead and add that to
I
it.
don't want to I don't want to take any implication as a green light for me to go ahead and take their information and use it however, to give them our
Right.
newsletter. I
Yeah.
don't think that.
Okay.
I think that's gonna make them upset. How did I get onto a newsletter? Now I'm getting a bunch of Parks and Rec stuff. I didn't sign up for this.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a change on that
Yes.
document where it's what's implicit is explicit.
Yes,
And then I'd like to make a change on our committee applications. You don't get to opt out there
You're
either.
now getting-
We're dumping it right in.
Yeah.
I mean, it should be.
Well, I think those should just say,
Explicit.
hey, we're gonna put you in here.
that's part of your,
And if
role.
they're in
You
the,
now
yeah,
get our, you
yeah,
now
that,
get our
that
newsletter.
seems reasonable. But I think part of what they're expressing is not that they're getting not getting the information.
public
but
isn't.
The public isn't. So
Right.
it's a broader, and so I mean, I think our hard thing, and that's what you're saying too, is getting the general public to get that information.
Right.
How best.
And that's real, I mean, that's gonna fall on me and whoever else we end up adding to our staff to help take on that role of nonstop, because like we just explained at the beginning of this, I can't find updated stuff on T-ball because they've got other things that are on their plate than updating their
Right.
website. I have to add that into my mix of pushing that part out for people to get on board with our website. But I feel like we've spent a great deal of money on our website.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Facebook has improved a great deal, I feel like, with what I've been putting out to people. Instagram has looked a lot better than what it was before I took over Instagram. It's getting that out there.
Mhm.
I just think if we spend more money on another newsletter when we haven't even fully utilized what we have right now, that we just put 10 grand towards.
Yeah, I don't think we're suggesting another separate uh platform or anything. We're just suggesting maybe on a quarterly basis, we kind of compile what was done in the last quarter into a quarterly newsletter
Okay.
that can be accessed via all those existing
Okay,
Yeah.
things. I think
And that's what I was wondering, under that, where the signups, like, is there room to put one more box that says quarterly newsletter? And you can check that box too if you want to get that.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to our website people to see if we can do that.
I believe it was one of the capabilities for the website back when I was learning about it, was
Yeah.
a newsletter.
Okay.
So.
Next,
ready for
I
that.
think we've beat that horse pretty hard. Board vacancy. I think we have Mr. Jackson James.
You sleeping?
Good morning, can you hear me?
Oh, you gonna sleep talking website stuff?
Can we
That's usually when most people leave the meeting.
Can we unmute Mr. James?
He's
Can
not
you hear me
unmuted.
now?
Oh, there we can hear you.
All right, good. Very interesting conversations. I enjoyed that.
Get off the website, please.
I
Join
met-
our newsletter.
No, very good.
Okay.
You're doing a great job, and I definitely understand the depth of this whole thing being on the committee. Yes, I've done this many times, and I got word from Sarah. I met her at the last council meeting in Tetonia that they approved the your committee right here for the valley as Parks and Recreation, what we can do with that. And I just got really excited about that. And she said, well, you can apply. So here I am. And I want to be on your committee directly, but evidently I'm not in the impact area. I don't know how they figured that out. To get on the map is really kind of screwy, but on my side distance from rodeo grounds, and I met the mayor 3 years ago and gave a presentation to the council about the potential of this gold mine over there at the rodeo grounds. You got 40 acres. You haven't done anything with it, and with the expansion of this valley, it's just it's a no-brainer. We have to do something to it. So he formed a council and advisory type thing, and volunteers all joined on, and we spent 3 years on this, and we've done fantastic. All volunteer, no money from the city. We had to find funding, and it's been really exciting. But I want to go to the next step, and maybe your group can help in that regard in Parks and Recreation. So that's why I'm talking with you this morning. I'd love to be part of it in some form, give input, and I have lots of dreams. I've always been this way. I'm kind of a visionary individual. To give you, you want a little background of me, or leave it?
Yeah, that'd be great, James. Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Well, I was an educator in high school, a shop teacher for 35 years back in Northern Illinois. I moved here when I retired. I've been here for 26 years. My wife and I bought property by the rodeo grounds. We've got 30 acres. So I've been farming. We do have livestock, and it's all basically a hobby. But I enjoy being outside, and I really want to be part of this valley and the growth of this valley. When I came here, I met the people, the staff and such at the high school, because I developed a high school program in aviation. I was an aviator as a hobbyist, and what I learned and enjoyed, I thought this might transition into the school systems, and it did very well back east. I actually built flying airplanes with my students. That was my way of teaching skills, and it went well beyond my dreams of what the potential was of the young people. So when I came here, I presented this idea to the school board, and they weren't quite ready for that. But as time went on, all these years, I worked with the school system, and I know that was one of your subject matters with high school 401. So I know the people there, and we do have a program now, an aviation elective program. We've had 50 students sign up this past fall, so I'm very excited. And the whole idea is with these young people is trying to introduce ideas about their futures, their lives in particular, what they can do for professions. So I also was part of an aviation pilots group here at the Riggs Airport. It's called EA Chapter 1049. I've been with that for 20 some years. We offer free flights every summer. You probably heard about Young Eagles. Okay, I've chaired that for years. We've probably taken over 2,000 or 3,000 kids from this valley over the 20-year span. And again, it's just planting the seed, as you might say, to these young people. And we offer scholarships to the Tin Cup. I think we've had over 30 young people with the scholarships offered. And they're $13,000, by the way. We've been able to afford to grant 2 scholarships a year. And we probably had over 30, 40 people in this valley became pilots and have moved on forward. So I'm very excited what we've accomplished with the community. With the rodeo grounds, we've done unbelievable job. The bleachers there were rotten, and the insurance company wouldn't cover anything. And so we had to find financing and metal bleachers available, used ones, and we did that. And we spent 2 full years assembling these bleachers that came on 2 semi trucks, no plans. It was like an erector set, but they did it. And we've got a new parking lot. We had the state grant 50 loads of mixed gravel and clay. We have a beautiful pathway around the entire 40 acres, and on and on and on. We got lights there now. We got LED lights. That cost us what was going to go for $40,000. I worked with our local electric company and contractors. We got them done for $20,000. Again, that was all funding, nothing from the state. We were on our own. I mean, we've done unbelievable, and I want to keep that going. I think it's got great potential with the fact that we're going to have maybe 600, 700 homes coming into this little community. it's growth. I mean, this whole valley's growing, and I'm so proud of the fact I've been able to work with individuals and planning the future, not just a free for all, but planning the future of this beautiful valley we have. And back to the rodeo grounds, we took down some trees that were blocking the beautiful tetons we have, and I mean it's a special place. So I'm hopeful that you consider my application in some form that I can be part of this whole thing because you're doing a fantastic job, and it's a big responsibility. I mean, attended probably over 100 meetings with the airport board that was on for 10 years, and that's how you learn. I mean, I had no idea about federal funding and state and such, and it was a learning experience, but I got a pretty good grasp of how things work. So, do you have any questions for me? My big mouth.
Well, I'm impressed that you're still here after having students build aircraft that you flew in.
Yeah, they
That's a
fly.
sign of your abilities, I guess.
Sign of a very good
Good
instructor.
QA.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Sounds good to me. Who stepped off the board? I wasn't even aware.
It was
What's
Early on.
early on, a guy from Targhee.
Oh,
The
Tony Ferlisi.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just had postponed filling it because we hadn't gotten through the master plan yet.
Yeah.
We were kind of moving that back. That was the discussion at the meeting when I brought it up, was that we weren't gonna fill it just yet because we hadn't gone through the first round of surveys or whatever with the master plan, so.
With not having anyone on it from the north end, Jim just kind of fell in our lap essentially.
No, I think it's great, and I,
So,
Yeah, we did definitely miss people from up there.
Well, I'm a little behind the technology, but I know you'll help me if needed.
absolutely.
You and me
I have a
both.
lot of enthusiasm. I really see a great future, but it's got to be under control. And that's what you're doing. You're trying to make the right decisions so we have the positive growth. And I have visions. Maybe we can have that path that they proposed years ago, coming from Driggs up to Ashton. Maybe we have a process where we can go around the old railroad that's been purchased by private entities, property owners. Maybe there's an avenue where we can still get people that ride bikes and such up to Teutonia and then take that Ashton Trail. And also, I live off of 3000, which is one of the few paved roads going into Teutonia. There's a tremendous amount of people, young people with their kids, walking the dogs and the bicyclists. I really worry it. Maybe that can be another avenue, up to Teutonia and past the rodeo grounds. Maybe the rodeo grounds can be one of these dog walking areas. We don't have that in our valley yet. I don't think Victor or Griggs has something like that. And here we got 40 acres that could be into a dog park. Just great potential. We have to work together and make, see it working out.
well, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mr. James Jackson Senior to our Teton Valley Parks and Rec Advisory Committee.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Well,
All
thank you.
right, Jim, you're on it.
I
And
guess
so
that was an aye.
That's the majority.
It's a majority. Okay, that'll work.
She was hesitant. She knows you better than us, so I don't know, James.
So yeah. So currently the committee is working on the master plan update. And so look for information about those meetings coming up soon.
And Katie, if you would forward him the manual.
I did.
Oh, okay, I've already got that. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Cool. Well, thanks, James. We're glad to have you on board.
Well,
Yes.
thank you for all you've done, because I know it's a lot of work. But the payoff is that you're making progress and be proud of the fact you did something for our beautiful valley.
That is absolutely true.
That's our goal for sure. Okay. Item 8, appointment of climbing gym committee members. So after our last meeting, we approved proceeding with putting together a climbing gym committee. And so what I did, I think I said that in my emails, I reached out to those that had expressed interest and said, hey, we need to build this committee. This is kind of what you're thinking. If you got people in mind, have them submit applications. And so we had 9. I added a 10th one I received yesterday afternoon. Individuals. And we want to go to that that there's, you can look at, have each of them broken down and then, or each of the applications are there in that
You have
file.
a spreadsheet to summarize.
And then, yeah,
Thank you.
I tried to summarize them into a spreadsheet to help here.
Yeah, a couple names, folks that have been at meetings and.
Yeah, and I think, one of the things we talked about is that and I don't believe we have any in this list, that we didn't want anyone really on the committee that was involved in kind of directly involved in the controversy associated with that. So people that, the controversy of the old Teton Rock gym is kind of the thought. So,
Do you know who those people are? Because I can't say that I do.
well, I think that it was the ones that were vocal, or the ones, that were probably the most vocal, was probably Sarah Johnson and her husband. And those were the most.
Brady.
Yeah, Brady Johnson, yeah. So I think we've got a good makeup of individuals. Here, we've got a selection of several parents with children, climbers. I think I would take one right off the list based on the response of not filling out the form in any level, really.
Okay.
Be Benton Hodges, he just sent one sentence that he's a longtime climber kind of thing. The way I look at it is, if we need to do things fairly rapidly, and we need people that will at least fill out the form. So
Functional requirement.
functional,
Is what
yeah.
they
So
call
it's
it,
like,
the other one. I like, yeah.
yeah. So it's like, okay, if you have to down select it,
That's right.
that's the way I look at that. I
You know,
think
there's a couple in here that are former board members. What do you guys think about that? You know,
I think in my thinking there is, they bring experience, if they were, from past. And so
Mhm.
part of what we're looking for is to understand. I mean, we need somebody who's got some experience in developing such an operation, and to understand that. And so we're bringing that. I think with them, we're bringing that experience. Uh, from most of these have been off the board for a while. They're not like recently.
okay, let me ask maybe,
Sure.
yeah, I think that's a fair point, I guess. I don't know Tyrell Mack, but I read that what he's put down, and I thought, well, seems like a real asset there.
Mhm.
I know Jansen personally. I think he's a really great person. I don't know, um, you know, there was something happened with that group that led to this fracture, and I don't know the background of it, and uh, people were excluded from membership of the gym by the ED person. Are any of these people, were any of those people
Excluded.
victim to that, let's say?
I don't know the answer to that.
And it would, yeah. So that's a little bit of a follow-up for those of the maybe past board members, and just a little bit of a concern I have uh, there.
Well, Jansen was the one that submitted those designs for the potential, so it seems like he has some knowledge there that maybe a parent doesn't necessarily bring to the
Mhm.
board, so the technical expertise.
No, totally. I mean, and I guess it's quite like, do you guys have any more background on this issue from talking to anyone? Is it something we just want to turn a blind eye towards and say we're only moving forward and these are the people in the community that have stepped up and people that generally tend to step up have good intentions? I'm just
Yeah, I guess
I almost want to kind of just like take this concern and make a
Right.
decision about it so we can move on. Is where I'm
Yeah,
at.
yeah, so I mean, I think, I can't remember when I think it was last summer when I think Sarah was probably the first one that came to me saying, hey, we've got this issue, and so I just listened and said, I think I brought that to the board yet, that I talked to these people and there's this concern out there. I think just if you were, if you were excluded for whatever all that reason was, I don't know. I don't know if that really, I mean, if you're just a victim of some circumstance at that point. Um, and so I don't know if that, I mean, this is where I'm in my mind, and I understand, do you say those folks because they have some, maybe, I don't know, I want bad choice of word, but vendetta, maybe, I don't know that that would be there for sure, or they're just victims of being in that group of folks. I think of, say, Nate Carey with the adaptive sports people. He he was one that his whole organization was excluded. And though Nate didn't apply here, Nate definitely, I mean, I would think I would want his input into any design so that in operation, so that we would understand
Sure.
what we need to do to ensure that we can have access for everyone there, people that need adaptive help and things like that. So I guess my point is, if they're, I look at those that were kind of the, choice of better words, in the paper, is
Mhm.
probably, let's just avoid those because, and I don't believe any of those submitted.
Okay.
That just adds additional controversy to it that we don't. But I do think if we've got people that have some background experience, we need to grab that. I mean, as as having an engineer that's constructed a a building in the past is better than a engineer right out of school.
Sure.
Yeah, just as far as trying to get things done. So.
Okay, I did some ranking. I have 4 choices, and then the 5th would be, I'm not sure which parent to include.
You thinking there, Sarah? Oh, you got numbers there.
Column G.
There you go. I was gonna add a column and I said, oh, there's numbers there. So
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of those choices there. I think you know, Sage has been, also attentive and
Katie and I
showing-
met with her.
Oh.
So
Okay.
do you know Sage?
What were your
Better.
thoughts there? Do you think?
but she's just an involved parent that cares
Okay.
about climbing.
Yeah.
Probably has maybe a little more expertise than some of the other parents that are listed, but maybe we need something different too. That's not all expertise, and maybe just
Mm-hmm.
someone that, I mean, like, I know Colleen, mostly her husband, I worked with him up at the ski hill. No volunteer experience, but maybe this is her chance to break into something she cares about.
She, in her defense, she sent me an email and I said, well, here, I sent her the form. She didn't have the form. She couldn't fill it out and
Okay.
she was headed on to the Middle Fork.
Okay, yeah.
Or headed on to River Float. I just assumed Middle Fork because, yeah, I think she did because I said, I think I hate you.
Hmm.
And so it's a good guttural reaction. From
Yeah,
people getting permits
yeah, I
and I
get
don't.
you.
But so she probably didn't have I don't know if she has volunteer experience or not.
But I mean, I know she's a pilot, so.
Yeah, James might be able to feed us in
He's
on some
responsible.
there.
I know her a bit, but been a while since I worked.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think you're right. And that, even though we're looking for people from the climbing community, but getting that kind of outside look at it too, to go, oh, but think about this.
Like
Because
the average person
yeah,
perspective.
yeah.
Yeah, she has 13-year-old twins. And then I don't really know the other folks.
Is there a suggestion for the fifth one? I like the four you selected.
Does she live here? I mean, she's parent of climbing kids, but she works for Boise State.
We can look at her. Sure. Let's see. Address. I think she must. Favorites.
I'm gonna run out of time.
What's that?
I said I'm gonna run out of time.
Uh-oh. What time are you at 8, 9?
Well, 9.
Okay. I think Peter lives here.
It says she's in Teton Valley.
Yeah, I think so.
Husband teaches at Victor's Mountain Academy School.
Yeah.
I think your communications background is going to be really helpful.
Christy then for 5.
Sure. Okay, and I'll make a motion to appoint Christy Spence, Jason Gunderson,
Jansen.
Sen Howe, Claire Fatucci, Tyrell Mack to the advisory board for the climbing gym.
I'll second.
Any discussion? No discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. I also included in there a description of the committee's role.
Mhm.
Have a chance to look at that.
Yeah, I thought, you know, one of the things that gave me some confidence in pushing this forward was the study that was done showing it was basically, self-sustaining. I think we should add that somewhere in the charter that's, how could we phrase that in a way that says the goal is that this is a revenue neutral operation?
See,
Maybe under constraints. Item. Another item that says maybe under the
strains.
Exceed. not to exceed, and then maybe after that say something that
How about if we add in
that's typing.
No, go ahead.
go ahead.
If you're in the live one, go for it.
Project must be self-sustaining or
I mean,
or
I think we were short
towards?
in the initial thing, you could say something like,
What's the right term? Self-sustaining, is that?
revenue neutral, or is that or expenses and revenue, or does it need to be balanced?
Goal.
I believe the study we had looked at was something like, oh, it's gonna cost us 286 and it's gonna be 281 in revenue anticipated, or uh
What the goal of the climbing gym is to be revenue neutral. So they have a goal and I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah.
They're gonna present
sure.
the results of all this and then we're gonna go,
Right.
that doesn't meet what we're trying to do. There. Any other discussion on it?
Do we want to put anything forward in terms of expect them to elect a chair and a secretary and provide agendas and minutes and anything like that in terms of governance?
Um, I think if we did that on our other, or not in the other advisory board. I know.
Recorded anyways.
Yeah, I know we did it. We did, we elected a chair.
I don't think it was actually, like, I don't think it was listed that we were taking minutes, but I do it. Like I recorded.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to, yeah, it's required by our, the manual that we have, so I think that covers, I think we're probably covered there then. We'll get them to do that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? You look like you're editing.
Oh, yeah, just, there were multiple
Typos?
and typos. So
Yeah, well, that's.
It's like there's three people working in one
Right.
document.
Yeah, I was saying, if you're just correcting, yeah.
There.
I'm still reading revenue neutral. Are you guys seeing that?
Nope, mine were
Okay.
maybe.
Revenue neutral.
Refresh.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
it's fine.
okay.
Hope I
That's
just fixed that.
interesting.
Where do we
That
stand with
happened.
Wi-Fi in our facility? Do we have it yet?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Do we need to take any action to help?
Nope, she's doing it.
Cool. Great.
I'll get it when I get it.
So I will make a motion to accept the charter, the Teton Parks and Recreation Climbing Gym Advisory Committee Charter as edited.
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Discussion, those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, let's see, where are we here?
Jake's projects.
Drake's spot, okay. Sorry. So there's two projects here that were suggested by Teton Valley, the Driggs Joint Powers Board. The first is the turf infield improvements at Lions Park. This was something that we actually had in our budget last year to fix on the outside of the diamond. As you run, you create kind of a lump over time, and it's to smooth that out.
Yep, that one's needed.
Yep. So that was,
This might be the first one we've looked at where fees are charged. And so, I know that that's a trigger of some kind.
Well, it's mostly just making sure that
we know who's gets those
who's managing the money.
Yeah,
It's
So,
just all part of the
yeah.
APA.
yeah.
So,
Okay.
And so this one actually, the Lions Park, we did the irrigation one previously. I had to focus there. I think that's something we need to think about as we move forward and we start to, we talked about the long-term maintenance for these different parks and trying to figure out an algorithm for that. And I'm going to do some thinking on that, kind of like, how do you decide how
If
much
we
money
put
goes?
$5,000 into a $1 million park and they collect, $500 in fees, do we get 5 cents or whatever?
Yeah, that needs
Yeah.
to probably work into that. It's like, okay, here's
Yeah.
what we'll do, and so thinking about how we include the entire county population and what percentage of that uses that park, kind of trying to figure something out. And I'll do some thinking on
Okay.
that, because I think that's an interesting thing, but yeah, so this is that there. The second one is a little bit different, and that is That's the Primrose Park. Upgrades, and that includes multiple things. This is one of those past completed projects that we talked about with Jeff, and that includes the reseeding of the Primrose Park, and they've gone through, and because that park was hammered since it was built, they went through and reseeded that area. I did take a look at it yesterday because when I talked with the soccer folks, when we walked one field and tried to understand what the issues were there, there's also some already starting to come there, and that's something maybe we need. It's kind of a sidelight, but it's looking at how do you maintain turf so that it stays smooth for, players out on there. It's something we as a board need to think about, especially if we're putting money into a project to fix it. How do you maintain it so it stays and doesn't just degrade over time too? Just something to think about. But yeah, so this was a reseeding of that. This was paid for. The mag locks right now, the city walks around. They have one person, except for one place that opens the restrooms every morning. And this is adding that, and the other is seating for players out there.
And
So-
that's at the soccer field where we're putting the figures in?
Yeah. And
Okay.
so, as far as what was included originally in our budget, we did have money in for fixing fields. And I feel the fixing of the field part seems reasonable. The other two are kind of new components of that that we really haven't discussed at this point, but
And you're putting this in the 2026 budget?
yes, this is a request for now. Yeah, and they've got
I'd
those.
like to make a motion to approve the two JPA projects as written.
Is there a second on that?
Paid by check.
Paid by check.
Okay. I will second.
Any further discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Okay, so budget action item. Okay, so there's a couple things here. So I think, did everyone have a chance to look through what?
So one sort of organization thing is I'm building budgets for Victor and the school district separately.
Okay,
Do you guys want to see that level of detail, or do you just want to know the big number?
I think, well, there's kind of two things we need to think about. One is we've kind of got, within what we've got in this spreadsheet, we've kind of defined some of those numbers.
Yep.
And I think, as we move forward, we need to, pull those in as backup. So that we have in one document.
Yes.
This is the basis, and it doesn't need to be, but they're not at this point approved projects, because
Right.
I think in a year from now, when we're doing this next year, we'll be to the point where we've got projects that we say, yep, these are the basis, this is the dollars for those as we move forward. But we're not quite there yet. And so what we're looking at, and this is philosophy by John, is we've got a set amount of money we have set aside for each of our partners.
Mm-hmm.
And the specifics on those in some level of detail might exist.
Mhm.
But we haven't approved those projects yet because they've got to go through that process.
Mhm.
And so we're using that as, okay, here's $120,000 for Victor, whatever it is that we've set aside. Here's some backup that we kind of think might be those projects.
Mhm.
We use that as we move forward, and as we hit into the next fiscal year, that's when we start working detailing those projects and assigning those dollars.
Mhm.
So that's kind of where I'm looking at it at this point. So,
Great.
so if we look at kind of, the kind of the level two kind of rolls up are these numbers, and then the other piece of that. So let me back up. When I had a discussion with Kim Keeley the other day to try to understand some things, because we talked about foregoing
Kim is the clerk?
she's a county clerk.
Yep.
Yeah. She's probably the smartest person on all this budget stuff. I mean, she just knows things. So there was a question I asked her specifically. I said, if we forego that money, are we better to forego that increase, or are we better to take the increase and reduce our budget? It's kind of a philosophical, because how does that money get set aside?
Do we need it though?
Well, that's a different question. That's a different question. So there are two questions there. Yeah. And so what do you do there? and one of her thoughts was, I mean, she said, one of the concerns with foregoing is she feels that the legislature is trying it's more difficult to take that money and bring it back into the budget in the future because it requires some different requirements. The other, she thinks the legislature wants to get rid of that ability. And so that money might disappear. One thought. So that, I don't know if that really answers that question that I
When you
was really
say
asking for.
that the money might disappear, what do you mean by that?
We won't be able to, so when you forego it, it kind of sits in a pool. And
That's
so,
at 3%, right?
yeah, 3+%. Yeah. So that'd be in our
What do you mean
case,
but what do you mean by sits in a pool?
it sort of sits back there as called, I mean, it's sort of set aside that the board can then, we have to make not a motion, but what's the next level of
Resolution.
a resolution, thanks. A resolution to forego those costs. It sets out there. So it's a line on the accountant's list that says, yeah, they forego.
The taxes have been collected, but we're foregoing
No, it doesn't actually
taxes
collect.
are not
It
collected.
doesn't collect. It gives us the ability to collect that money in the future.
Without doing a special levy.
Yeah.
So, and when you say that, I think this might get into my final question, but if it's we collect it in the future, we are saying that, I guess, we're not gonna take a 3% upcharge this year, right?
Well, that's part of the
If we don't do
discussion.
it, let's,
Yeah.
but presumably, that's why that mechanism exists. In the following year, that we do want to increase, do we take 3% on the prior year plus what we forego?
No.
Or we can only take it on the number we took?
The number we took. So that's the downside of foregoing.
Yeah,
Is that, and that's kind of what my
It sets you
question.
back a year.
That was my question is,
okay.
so if we just reduce our budget, and again, this is me just trying to think, it's just moving money around, is if you reduce the budget by that same percentage, does that eliminate that question? And the answer really is no. It's just it doesn't work.
It doesn't.
To me, I was like, well, I'll just be creative. Let's do it that way. And
Did you and Kim talk about whether any of the local taxing districts do forego or have recently foregone?
no, we
Do we know
didn't
what
ask
the
that
local
question.
precedent is, or are people?
It happens across the state, I know, because when we sat through training, I mean, they talk about it quite a bit about how to do it. So I guess and so the other piece of that discussion was too, and then we can ask, before I forget it, was she talked about through a referendum, we can take all these projects that we have identified to be funded with this year's funds, but they're not going to happen till next year. So instead of carrying that money over, you put it in what she says is a capital fund that is defined to be used for these projects.
Okay.
And then through, we pass that, and then that shows up as money that's committed at that point.
Okay.
As opposed to available cash. And that's available cash is the carried over money. So what that does, in essence, is it said, okay, here are these projects we've already committed to these that's carried over, or that's money from this year.
Just so on the bottom line, it looks like we're not carrying more cash than.
Right, it's yeah.
Dedicated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so the bottom line, I guess, from the first question, rather foregoing, is what that does, is that sets us back that much. So I think I did a calculation. Again, it's actually larger than 3% because you get all the new construct, but I haven't looked at what that number is projected. And the sad thing about that is you really don't know what that number is until after the budget's approved. So you got to kind of shoot for it.
Okay.
But what I think it was like, well, we can do calculation right now.
Can I see if I can reach between you guys on that outlet?
Well, I just Googled if there was any districts have foregone for the 2025. And there isn't a master list of who has done it, but the statewide commission reports a total statewide foregone balance of roughly 132 million. So because it's a wide state, because there's a ton of different districts in each county, there isn't a list of who's done what, but
Yeah.
in 2025, 132 million was foregone. Some
Yeah,
people do it.
So is that our
Yeah.
first decision this morning?
yeah, that's probably well, there's two things we need to, well, yeah, I think that basically will define where we go. The other question is, uh, and so, let me see, so that, what is that percentage? So that's, I want to say it's like $50,000, $60,000 is what the difference is. That 3%, is that? Or 78. Nine, or 7.
Well, just to put some other numbers on the table while John's doing that, I
Yeah,
have
57.
come up with wow, that's a pretty healthy number.
What?
I come up with over $41 million worth of projects. So um I think at this point in time, I still feel like we're on the riding the inertia of the community electing this district into place. People want to see Parks and Rec affect change. Um, Certainly, there's a group of people that are against the district in sort of its totality, but I am otherwise feeling like there is a lot of uh, excitement across a wide group of people for what we're doing. And uh, don't see a reason to be foregone at this point in time, if I'm using that term correctly.
I think you're using that term correctly. Not to forego, not forego that, so. Yeah, so the question, that's the one question, what do we want to do there? So that's one question we need to address. Other question, I think, prior to, and I guess we can figure out how we want to do that, is identifying what, if we want to, uh, commit certain funds to capital projects, that will, uh, for to be done next year.
Yeah, well, that's where I personally believe we need to get into a movement or a way of working together where we are uh, creating a slice of this pie for uh, the second goal of the Parks and Rec District in my mind, which is, facilities, period, right? So I think we're in the um, elevate to a consistent baseline type of timeline in our existence. But pretty soon, with these dollars, starting to allocate pots to say, no, we're building towards, I don't know whatever we want to start to decide as something that's more than $5, $10, $50,000 at a time. I think it's really easy for us to say yes to a lot of these projects at this point in time because it's like direct action and you know, clear need. And we're going to soon find ourselves in, well, no, we have to kind of get united on where do we want to make the focus being. And might be, and this is just spitballing, $3 million worth of public restroom facilities that we think we want to get to a point in the valley. And that's going to be our focus. And it's not that exciting, but we're all in agreement that that's the best thing that we could be doing. And then, maybe that's a super high number, right? That probably is a really high number for just toilets. But the point being, at a certain point in time, we're going to want to say it's this thing or it's that thing, or it's starting to seed in that 5-year budget, a capital fund that says eventually we're going to get to a down payment on something.
Yeah, so there's kind of two things we're thinking here, just to maybe speed that up. First is, I mean, I think that chunk of work is where we've sort of set aside, is we got the implementation of the county master plan. And so I see that.
Where are you pointing to there, though, John?
If we look on TVPR projects, that spreadsheet there,
Okay,
there's a blank. And I've noted to match remaining funds.
uh-huh,
And so
Okay.
I mean, basically, we've assigned a certain amount of dollars to things. And then for next year, when that plan is done in December, that's when we do exactly what you're saying. Okay, so here's our priorities, and we
Yep.
start to budget those out
Mhm.
into future years. And I mean, that's been our, kind of our goal. What I'm thinking about right now is we've got a list of projects that we've identified. For example, the land acquisitions,
Mhm.
that those are projects that aren't going to happen this year, but we are setting aside money. If we put those into a fund and call those our capital fund,
Mhm.
and is my understanding, we have a lot of leeway on how we define capital. It's not the standard 5 year depreciation, kind of
Okay.
things that last 5 years, longer, more things we could do there. If we put that in a fund, and then we've kind of we'll set ourselves up to say, okay, we've committed to using those funds for these projects next year.
Mhm.
And so that's sort of a separate piece. And so what that does is in our uh, our level 2 budget, is what that will do is reduce our estimated carryover, or excuse me, our available cash.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep, which is just a wag right now, so.
great.
So, and we just have to do that between now, I mean, we can identify kind of what we think that number is, and identify that, I mean, make that motion before the end of the fiscal year. To set those aside so we can say these are the ones, but we need to probably between now and then kind of figure out what that dollar figure is. And so if we have,
And you're gonna, so 862 at TVR projects is just gonna grow to make our delta. That's kind of where you're reconciling.
yes, that's yep.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, so if we look here, yeah, it'd be there. When is let's see, if we're the 11th, we need to publish that document, but what gives us, when do we need to publish our?
10 days prior.
So next week,
So pretty soon.
So
next Tuesday.
Do you need to walk out of here in a minute?
yeah, pretty soon.
Okay.
28th is when it has to be posted.
Right, 28th.
Next Tuesday. If it's 10 days before, that's 10 days before the 11th.
The following week. So we need to get it in next Thursday's paper.
We need to get it next Tuesdays to put us at 10 days. The 28th is 10 days before, like 10 business days before our meeting.
Is it
I don't
10
think it
business
says,
days or
I'm
is
not
it
sure it says
calendar
business
days?
days.
I'm just saying that
I
if
think
you guys
that's why
said
we
10
were
days, I
here.
just counted it out.
We need to
The
get,
28th is 10 days before,
Is it
and
10?
which means I probably need to have it Friday to give it to the newspaper to post it by next week. Right?
tomorrow.
Yeah, probably. But is it? Yeah.
I've got it up on the screen.
Sarah, what are your thoughts on just big picture on budget?
I just feel like we haven't totally grasped how the best way to spend the money is. And so it's hard to say, yeah, let's raise our budget when we haven't been able to spend what we've already been given. And I don't know, Teton County, they have lots of ideas and things. And I feel like if we set aside a similar amount, going forward, it'll translate into projects. And then we have the other budgets that are grant match and things where even if we didn't put something specifically in for a city or the county, we can pull from those other buckets, right? As far as what we're spending money on.
Money around.
So, I don't know.
I kind of look at it though, in some respects, it's not raising her because we've lost that much. I mean, there's two things in response. I think that thought is, one is, yeah, we haven't been able to spend as we hoped. And a lot of that's because we've been delayed because of getting these, basically learning, getting these things. in place.
Lawyers, yeah.
Yeah, and I think if we set aside those capital projects those are projects that we would have done, but we're just scooting them. That's one thing. The other piece of that is we've actually, because of inflation, that 3%, inflation is higher than that right now. So that's really not, from that standpoint, increase and such. And so you're not really that much increase. You're just not decreasing.
Sure.
And then it helps protect that into the future. And the other piece of that too is when we look at that, our long-term plan is we're until we see that, and that should help us better define long-term budget goals and what we need. We're choice of better words, we're foregoing that opportunity for that money. It's
Yeah.
give or take $57,000. So it's not a huge amount of money. Maybe it's an optic thing. I don't know.
I mean, I don't
Could be an
know,
optic thing, honestly.
Yeah. But the other piece of that too
by
is,
choosing to forego, it's better optics for the Parks and Rec this year because
So
yeah.
We're sitting on money right now. And we're making money on that money, but I don't know. I think it is an optics thing, and yeah, that's not a lot of money. And it's still there. It's not like, I mean, even if we want to go after it next year, we can.
well,
But-
yeah, that money's there, but then we've reduced it compounds over time.
Yeah, we just-
For new, don't they take the 3-year average when determining our budget? Like, once we get to that point, that 3% is based on your 3-year budgets.
I have that
No,
training book in my
Yeah.
desk, if you guys want me to grab it.
it's
The
on-
increase isn't based on the prior year necessarily, isn't it? Based on your,
based on your high, your
Yeah.
3-year high.
yeah,
Yeah, but
so,
our 3-year high is right now is last year or this year. And then next year, our 3-year high will be the same. So it doesn't change that. It changes that. The other piece of that too is the actual individual cost per property owner will be less next year, even with that increase. I mean, that's
yeah.
the advantage of, the
The
only
growing
advantage of
population.
state allocates budget for taxes.
Mhm.
Yeah, spread over broader.
I mean, I'm looking at projects that have been proposed, but not anything approved. That, yeah, I'm sure if we could actually execute it, people wouldn't be mad. But that's the problem right now, is the execution part.
Well, yeah, that's where, in my outreach with Victor, I've come up with $300,000 to have in their budget next year for facilities. That's more than double what's currently allocated. A lot of that is Sherman Park, which only barely beats Teutonia in terms of having, I didn't realize the rodeo was 40 acres. Beyond that, requests from that are sort of kind of out there at the moment, I'm totaling up to $686,000. This is just a spreadsheet I've made for Victor. I haven't shared this with you guys yet. Going beyond that, there's $150,000 for the Victor Boulder project. I am a little curious to talk to our climbing committee about that. I'm a little disappointed that the city of Victor made $150,000 grant match without ever talking to their parks joint power partner. So
Because it is in the paper said they could give it to us.
yeah.
But we may not.
And, you know, is that still a project if we take on this climbing gym? Because I know that that project existed in sort of response to the closing of the gym. Anyways, um, you can start getting into dollars around more work at the horse arena there. You start getting into dollars around more work at the Kotler Ice Arena. I I'm saying all of that only to put context to, I would say in the past just couple of weeks, it's sort of been like, oh, you know, Megan Latour and Mountain Bike the Tetons are all kind of going, well, wait a minute, you know, there's dollars, but we got projects. I think we're going to get hit with a wave of stuff here over the next couple of
Once they
months.
see us cutting checks for what we're voting on right now.
Well, it's a matter, we've got mechanisms in place.
And exactly, now
That,
we have the mechanism in place that action can happen.
Yeah.
And so,
And I think, you know, and that's where the resolution to put money that we, on these projects that we've defined, that list of those projects that were kind of to be done this year, to put those, set those aside. I mean, that helps show, yeah, we haven't got there. And I think in my mind, I have a pretty good story that seems to resonate with people that, you know, like I said, when the day that our tax bills came out and I got phone calls from people, you know, what is this, blah, 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 is walking them through, okay, here's what we've been doing. And most of those people, after we explained to them that we had to get these in place and this is, statute requires this and
Yeah.
this is what we're doing. And yeah, we're behind, but we're getting these projects done and getting them lined up. And I see if we can show that we've set those projects and we said, yep, these are ones we're doing. And those are money that's committed, even though they're not happening this fiscal year, they'll happen this calendar year, to get those done. I think that helps address that concern and stuff, and doesn't handcuff, you know, we don't lose that potential funding in the future. So that I kind of see. Even though, like you say, it's foregone, but we're reducing our budget, which will.
it's just like waiting for, you know, one more year to start investing kind of a thing in my mind. You know, you're losing all that compounded benefit. So
Okay, well, I have to get out of here because of the harassment. Gonna have unruly kids waiting for me at the trailhead. Probably have one.
Well, let's.
I guess just my Titonia, they haven't been very cooperative, so I'm fine keeping whatever we have already in there the same and not increasing that at all because they haven't come forward with any requests to increase it. And then,
well, I would say I personally like us taking the attitude that these municipalities and JPA partners, the budget is kind of set right now at the 136 for Victor or whatever. Like I think you guys had some good thought when you created those values for them, and that if there's a special project at the rodeo grounds or there's a special project at Sherman Park, we're not changing those groups' budgets. We're putting that in our capital fund and trading amongst ourselves, if you will, in terms of where we want to see those dollars go. So I think we could say today we're locking in the budget for, you know, Driggs, Tetonia, Victor, the school district. Is Teton County at 480 the same number as last year?
yeah, I think the only, I'm missing a number that for improving the rails to trails would be the big expenditure to get us up to that number. So I think it could be spent.
Okay.
There's also that proposed new trail along 2500 to help the connectivity between Titonia and.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
That I think we can get another 200,000 on there easy.
Okay.
But I didn't have hard numbers for the rails to trails asphalt yet.
So hypothetically, John, if level 2 stayed as exactly as currently allocated, what would the TVPR project number revise to? Do you think?
Well, that available cash, so the way we've got this spread right now is, we've got all those projects that are happening next year budgeted for, not committed this year. And what I'm proposing is we take those and commit those this year. That would reduce this available cash number. And then what remains would all go into the TVPR projects number.
Okay.
And
And when we talk about those projects that you just mentioned, are you saying that those, everything that's up to the JPAs we approved today, or even some more in addition?
I think up to those approved day and I'm looking at these ones we've got in the back here, and any additional that we feel confident that we would approve in the next month.
Okay.
And that we would identify those as part of that. And we can make that motion in September, that these are the projects that we're going to set. So we can kind of identify what that number is, and that'll be committed money now. And then pass that in our next, or to make a resolution.
In the final budget, so is
Or
this
yeah,
gonna
we
be
could do
good
that.
enough
We
for
could do
now?
that.
Like leaving it as available cash for now, or do we want to
I think we can
create
go,
the capital fund and have that
I
there
think,
instead?
yeah, I think we go through and we look at those that we have moved, that we know are gonna happen this year. And put those into, remove those from available cash.
Okay, so I'm gonna send you a note on the items for school district and Victor that I think we can get in 2026, and let you do the budget on that. Is that okay if I just give you a top line sum?
That's fine, yeah.
Okay.
And we can then, well, okay, so let me work on a motion here, let's say that. For the hearing budget, we'll take what we have here. I will remove, and again, this doesn't set us anything, so I will pull out the projects that we look at putting into a capital fund that'll be done, that are presently identified or going to be in a, near term. Set that aside and reduce our available cash by that amount.
So okay, I got it.
That makes sense. And then we'll have a better handle on the finalize of those numbers for our public hearing. So this is just to get this out. Should that make sense? And then we'll have this same discussion, I'm sure. At that point, we can continue with this.
So, yeah, where the county is sitting is all stuff that could be funded this year still.
Okay.
I think that's on there.
Okay.
Is
So-
the process, just because I am new to this, that we're gonna post this, have the hearing on the 11th, take public comment and things. But is it true that it's not until, no, that is the August meeting where we have to finalize it?
Yeah, then we'll,
Yeah.
yep.
Because September 1 is the start of the new year.
Yes, and so by the end of the month, I've taken the action, I'll put it all into the L2 form.
Okay.
And that goes to the county, and then the county forwards that to the state.
Okay.
I think, I forget what date, 1st of September sometime in there.
September 1st.
Yeah. Yeah,
Great.
so, okay, so let's see if I can make this motion. I'll make the motion to approve publication, our hearing budget as presented here with the available cash reduced by the anticipated capital projects to be completed with funding this year.
And then placed in the TVPR project. With the balance then
Yes,
placed in the
place it, yeah.
TVPR project line.
Yep. Yep.
I'll second that motion.
Any more discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, I will try to get that. Those, if you give me those numbers.
Yep.
I'll try to do that first thing here this morning, so we get it out, so in case anybody says that doesn't seem quite right or whatever, so. Okay. Okay. Let's see. And we'll have more discussion.
Budgets.
Yeah.
I just got really stressed out all of a sudden.
That's right. Okay, I make a motion to adjourn. Second. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Tell the girls it's Matt's fault.